All right, so in the previous section we saw some troubleshooting on the Kimura, speaking of breaking grips and stuff like this, stuff that our opponent can do when we're trying to submit. Now we're going to see some alternative submissions. In other words, maybe I can't break a grip or something like that. Maybe it's, let's say here, and I'm trying to break the grip, but I can't. And it happens all the time, more often than not, unless I'm stapling this arm. It's going to be hard to break grips, right? So maybe in that case, I can go to alternative submissions. So we're going to look at a couple of them, and that'll basically be something to supplement the Kimura system itself. So let's say my opponent is doing a great job here. He's tucking his elbow in, and he's got his hands, there you go, and he's got his hands clasped very hard and very well. And it's difficult for me to do anything from here. I can't do much. If we're at the same size, same weight class, and probably same skill level, it's going to be hard for me to do anything, even though I have a dominant position, right? So what we notice here is that his head, his neck is exposed when he's in this position. Okay, so here's a good one to begin with. It's called the Nutcracker or leg scissor choke. I'm basically going to fold to my side, knowing that his head is between my legs. I'm going to fold to my side here while I'm still holding and maintaining the Kimura grip. And as I do, I'm going to try and accommodate his throat, his neck, between my knees, directly between my knees. Right now, as we felt, he turned with me, so his neck is a little bit higher. It's right here on the hamstring. But if I feel that's the case, not that I can't choke him from here, but it's a lower percentage. If I feel that this is the case, I'm just going to straighten out my legs a little bit while I'm holding the Kimura again, so he doesn't free himself. And I'm going to scissor my legs, straighten them up, and get the tap if he doesn't know the defense. Now, here's the funny thing about this one. It is a very high percentage choke because it's a very strong one. I'm using the strongest part of my body against his neck alone with no any resistance. However, the defense to it is not that complicated. He needs to unlock his hands and he needs to push on my knee, on my top knee, and as he does that, he's basically free from the choke. But notice that as he did that, travel down please, as you do this. As he's doing that, he had to unlock his hands to do it. That gives me, because I'm still maintaining the Kimura grip, it gives me the actual submission that I initially want. So I'm going to bring that hand out before he regrips. I'm going to bring it out and put it on the floor. Now, as I do that, I'm going to pin his wrists on my way up. I'm going to pendulum and come up here. I have a choice now to make. I can do step over and finish in the position that we were finishing before, or as he breaks my grip, I pin his hand down because he unlocked his hands. I come up, I pendulum, I come up, and I'm going to land on this shoulder. This way. Now I'm pinning the same shoulder that I'm actually attacking. And if he tries to move around, go ahead. It's literally less mobile than he is even on the other side. Let's demonstrate this from a different angle. Head this way, please. So we were here. He's away from the camera, but you can, we're presuming that he's doing a great job over here with his elbow. I cannot unlock his hands. I'm still maintaining him perpendicular to the floor, and nothing is happening. Even if I put my whole body, it's hard, something's wrong there, okay? So I'm gonna fall to my side on my left hip in this case, and I'm maintaining the Kimura grip, and I go for my submission. His neck right now is on my lower hamstring. So what I need to do is accommodate and adjust a little bit, okay? Right now it's between my knees. If I squeeze and he doesn't do anything, he'll tap. I'm going to squeeze and he's going to defend it most likely if he knows what he's doing. It's not that hard to defend, but it gives me access to this hand as he unlocks his clasp. So I'm going to put it right on the floor. Right away I'm going to come up and turn scissor my legs and put my weight on this same shoulder. As I come up, put my weight here. Now I'm facing away from him and it looks like he has an avenue to escape, but just try to move around. I'm not going to submit. He can't do anything because the pin on this shoulder, along with the immobilization of the arm, is enough to keep him down. Even if he starts swinging his legs, there's very little we can do. So this is one great option. Like I said, we can also put his wrist down and come up to this position and finish. I feel that the other one is just faster, and it's a very secure position as well. Now we're going to look at another submission that comes from a little bit of a different, from the same initial position, but let's go the initial way, the way we were initially. But this time, open up your elbow a little bit. This time what he's doing is, he's giving me a little bit of space here, right? And for some reason, he's a very strong dude, and I can't do anything about unlocking his hands. So it's just not there for me. Okay? But because I'm maintaining this Kimura grip, he's not going anywhere either. He'll probably try to put himself flat on the floor. My knee, my leg, and my hip are right behind his back here, his upper back, so it's hard for him to go flat. So what I'll do now is, I'm going to lean all my weight, in this case, I'm going to attack another submission. I'm going to lean all my weight this way, while maintaining the grip safely. And I'm going to take my leg and weave my feet inside the crook of his, under his armpit. Okay? So as I do that, I'm just going to scoop back to maintain your grip. I'm going to scoop back and lay down this way. Now I'm going to release, I'll show it from the other angle too. I'm going to release this hand while still maintaining control with one arm. I'm going to grab behind his tricep. Okay? You can see that my legs are not locked. If he's open like this, I can't really finish whatever submission I'm trying to finish. I'm going for a triangle here because his head and arm are trapped between my legs, okay? And this one is outside my legs. But you can see that he's maintaining his grip here, at the same time his elbow is open. I need to close that, sorry, not elbow, but his shoulder. I need to close the gap between his shoulder and his neck. So what do? I can weave my arm through here, pull, as I accommodate, maintain your grip please. As I accommodate and adjust my position, now I'm going to triangle my legs, and I'll finish here. For him to defend that position, he needs to open his shoulder up. Okay? As he opens the arm, notice that he let go of his grip here. If he defends it properly, I can come back and finish the Kimura. Let's do that once again on this side. So the idea is to attempt an alternative submission in order to get back to Kimura if that alternative submission doesn't pan out. So we're going for that. We're going for this, and it's not working. I lean my weight onto my left leg here and my left hip while still behind his back. This one becomes very light. I throw my foot through and maintain a grip on your hands, please. And then I weave in and lay back again this way. But this time his arm is trapped along with his neck between my legs. Now, if he wants to free this arm, he needs to let go of the grip, right? So go ahead and free your arm while my legs are still unlocked. Then I pin it and I go for the submission. He's probably not going to want to free this arm because he's going to let go of the defensive grip for the Kimura. So that's going to give me time and opportunity to lock up the triangle. I'm going to have my left arm as deep as possible into his elbow, crook of his elbow. And I'm going to reach with my right arm after I let go of his wrist, in between, towards the tricep. I'm going to grab onto the tricep, unlock, and face down. When I do that, I shoot my hips into his bicep. Okay, get it tight? Into his bicep, okay? Now, his shoulder is touching his neck. I'm going to lock and finish. If he wants to defend this position, he needs to open his elbow and create distance between his shoulder and his neck. As he does that, he has to let go of the Kimura defense, which puts me in the same position as before, and to finish. Okay? So these are a couple of variations, alternatives rather, to use when we cannot finish due to him gripping tight. And we can attack different kinds of submissions, leg scissor choke or a triangle. All right, we're back with the next part of the Kimura series. So we're going to talk about the difference between the Kimura as a submission and Kimura as a control hold. It is used as both, and more often than not, it's actually used as a control hold. But there is a big difference in the hold itself. We're still going for the same kind of lock here when it comes to the configuration of the hands. Let's go right here. We're still going for the same kind of lock. I'm grabbing my own wrist and I'm grabbing his wrist with the other one. But you can let go here, please. The difference when I go for a submission is that I want to be as tight as possible here. I want to have his tricep into my chest, right? So now I can manipulate this arm, and if I have to break a grip here, I can put my whole body power, my whole body strength, but behind the grip break. Look, I can manipulate his arm, etc., etc. However, we spoke about that in the finishing mechanics. So this is for a submission, right? Now, when it comes to a control hold, not that this is not controlling, but we could be in a different position. The position itself here is very controlling, but we're not going to be in this position unless we're going to be finishing, right? We're going to find ourselves sometimes in a position where maybe I'm right here behind him, and I don't have much. Probably he's just holding his hands there, and I can't step over his body because maybe he's driving back into me. He's trying to get flat on the floor here to negate my Kimura grip. So I need to use this as a control. If I put my, this now works in reverse. So if I put my chest behind this tricep like we did for the submission, this actually makes it easier for him to free himself up, believe it or not. It looks like I'm very tight and all that, but there's a gap in here that allows him to actually defend himself by punching his elbow towards the floor. So he's going to hip escape that way and just punch the elbow here. Now I'm losing this position, right? It's going to be hard for me now to regain it. I might have to go for something else, right? But I'm losing the position because I'm using a submission hold for control in a non-submission position, if that makes any sense right now. So what I'll do instead now is, knowing that this is his path to freedom from the hold, I'm going to extend my arm rather and lift his elbow up this way, opposite the way he wants to go. So now my hands are like this basically, right? Now if he tries to return to that position, go ahead and put it's very, very hard. It's really hard. It's probably hurting him as he does that. If he tries to go the other way, he's not going anywhere, simply because I'm stretching my arms as opposed to being here. Again, if I'm here and he does that move, it's not very hard and he's actually going to wrist lock me. If I stretch my arms and I keep them tight, wrist to wrist, he tries to do that, he can't do it because his elbow is going the wrong way relative to where he wants to go. Same thing, if he wants to go forward, his elbow is still going the wrong way. And I have a very good grip here, maintaining that elbow upright. Okay? So this is the main difference in the grip between control and submission. We're going to show in the later parts of the video when we use the control grip as opposed to submission. There will be times when we're in transition between maybe this position right here, and I want to go for, let's say, the Kimura submission, or I want to go for the back or something like this. I'm going to have to control and maintain this position here because this is great for me. But if I start using the wrong body positioning, he's going to escape. So I'm going to do something like this. Maybe I can come here. Now going to segue into the part of the submission. If I use this same grip that I use for control, like this, for submission, it's going to be very, very hard to do anything. Like, just get a strong grip there. Yeah. It's going to be very, very hard to do anything, whichever way I go. Right? I'm going to control it, but there's not much chance that I'm going to submit. But if I put my chest behind now, because I'm maintaining a good positioning of the body already, I don't need that kind of control. But I do need the control to finish. So I'm going to put my chest behind this tricep. Now I can operate with my whole upper body against his arms. Okay. And this is a good time to mention now why I favor finishing the submission the way I showed in the first part, as opposed to just finishing it right here. Okay? If I have a very tight control here, and I'm doing everything proper, as I'm showing it and demonstrating it now, right? My knees are pinching. By the way, you might see sometimes people do this too. It's not wrong at all. I just prefer 2 knees on the floor because it gives me a little more flexibility for alternative submissions. But either way, I'm pinching my knees and my legs around his body and maintaining him in a perpendicular position relative to the floor. If I'm doing the technique with perfect mechanics and everything, his arm is parallel to the floor, perpendicular to my body, triceps stuck to my chest, I'm using my whole body to finish. I don't do anything stupid. I don't give him the chance to grab his pants or his hands. I can definitely finish it right here, right? And no matter how much flexibility he has, eventually I'll finish it. I have a lot of twisting to go here, right? Put his hand behind the back makes it even harder for him. That's probably even better. I have about 90-degree range to finish. However, if I'm in this position and I go, notice that he's going to tap right here, okay? Notice the range that I have to break him. It's a little bit over 90 degrees probably, but what's more important is that I'm pinning his shoulder to the floor and his hand to the floor, which means that I'm operating with a lot more leverage than I would be if we were in a dorsal bladed position. All right? So this is why I prefer this way of finishing the Kimura to the more standard dorsal way.